Hi, in this video we are going to practice with connectors and adverbs in a story. I'd like to ask you first these questions. What would you do if you saw a little boy or girl crying on the street? What would you do? Next, do you know what a social experiment is? What is that? Those situations that are portrayed as a scene, like a part of a movie, something fictitious, and they usually do those in order to see what people's reactions are. So we're gonna use that or those answers to the questions in the following story. So let's read, please, the following story. As I was walking in the park yesterday, I saw a little boy crying alone. I looked around and didn't see his mom or anybody who could be with him. Worried, I walked towards him. When I got closer, all of a sudden, the boy stopped crying and smiled. What? I asked what was going on, and he simply said that his older brother was doing a sort of social experiment just to see people's reactions. So the boy wasn't hurt. It was just part of an experiment. Okay. For that reason, he was pretending to cry. I didn't like it, so I didn't even wait for an older boy who was getting closer with a camera in one hand and a popsicle in the other. He was eating some candy before I left the park. So the person didn't wait for the boy to arrive. All right. Questions. What was the narrator doing in the park? He or she was walking. What did the person see in the park? The person saw a little boy who was crying. What was the narrator's reaction when he or she found out it was just a social experiment? He didn't like it or she didn't like it. Yeah, and he or she left. All right. Good. We're going to use this story to see some elements that are very important in English. One of them that I wanted to tell you about is that sometimes you may find some different spellings or different words in English depending on whether the writer was using American or British English. For example, as you can see in the story, the person talks about his mom. Use the word mom, but mom is spelled M-O-M, right? So let me show you. He says, and didn't see his mom or anybody, M-O-M. Well, in American English, it's spelled M-O-M, but in British English, it's spelled M-U-M. Okay? You may have seen, for example, words like center. Yes, center is spelled with ER at the end in American English and with RE at the end in British English. The pronunciation is the same, kind of the same, center and centa. But actually, there is not much difference between the two words, like color with OR at the end and color with OUR at the end. But words like popsicle, like what the boy was holding in his hand, can be a completely different word in American and British English. In British English, popsicle is ice lolly. The word truck that you may know in American English is lorry in British English. The bathroom is bathroom in American English and loo in British English. A game, when you're playing a game, you can call that a match more frequently in British English. A band-aid could be a plaster in British English. So as you can see, there may be some differences in vocabulary, and you just have to pay attention to where the author is from or what kind of English he or she is using. All right? One more thing that I would like to discuss in this lesson is adverbs and connectors, and here I have some for you so that you can see what they can do to a sentence in order to add or give more details about especially the actions that are being described. For example, you can see that some adverbs can give you more information about how often an action is done, or when or where, and how or how much of it is done. And here are some adverbs that can provide that information. You can say that something is done never, or something was done last year, or something was done there. See, something was done well, or something was done too intensively, for example, or very often, etc. So those are adverbs that can add information to an action or about an action, and they enrich the story. All right? Now, we also have some words that are called connectors. These words sometimes are isolated words or part of a phrase. And here I have some examples for you. Some connectors can point at the direction or place of the action. For example, the word here, you can say, he left. That is a sentence. Or he works very hard. But if I say he works very hard here, or here he works very hard, that word here is adding information about where something is taking place, especially if you're saying, for example, he arrived early. Here we work on this. So if we say here, we are connecting the two ideas, and we're providing information about where something is taking place. So those words not only connect, but establish a relationship between two ideas. If we're saying to the left or opposite the building, there is bakery, for example. If I say there is a bakery, that's just one isolated sentence. But if I say opposite the building, I am providing some information about the action or what is being described. And for that, we use some words that are connectors. Sometimes they are adverbs. Sometimes they belong to a category called conjunctions. But what is important is that they connect ideas and provide certain emphasis to the story or to the action that is being described. In the same way, you can have some connectors that provide information about time and sequence when something happened, or they can connect ideas to provide, for example, information about comparisons that are taking place. Look at the chart that I have here for you, and you will have an idea about some connectors. And if you want to pause the video, examine the vocabulary, and look at the chart below also with more connectors that can establish relationships between the ideas that they are connecting, and they also help us understand better the situation. For example, if I say he likes roller coasters, that is one idea, and I say she didn't like to go on that roller coaster. There are two separate ideas, but if I say she liked roller coasters, but she didn't want to go on that one, I am actually establishing some contrast between those two ideas. So that is what connectors do. And I would like for you to examine these words or these phrases. And with that, I would like you to complete one activity, okay, to enrich one story, let's say. Here's the activity. Complete the following story using the adverbs and connectors from the word bank. So I'm giving you a lot of words or phrases that will enrich the story. So we don't necessarily have one that goes specifically in one blank, but with those you can certainly enrich the details in the story. So I want you to please pause my video, look at this paragraph, and then complete the paragraph with the words in the word bank. Okay, pause my video, complete the activity, please. All right, thank you very much. Let's look at the answers. Okay, the answers that I have, they may be a little bit different from yours, but we'll see that the text is much richer now. I like this story very much. A mother, wishing to encourage her son's progress on the piano, took him to a concert of a famous pianist. Later, could be, when she got up to go to the restroom or to the bathroom or to the loo, he immediately he immediately got up and entered a door marked "No Entry." That boy near the stage. Okay. Right when the mother discovered that her son was missing, the curtains suddenly opened. So if you said immediately here instead of suddenly, that is fine. Suddenly opened to reveal her son sitting at the stage piano. The boy calmly began to play chopsticks, that piece that you play with the two fingers. All right. Play chopsticks while the audience reacted angrily. That is an adverb to say how the audience reacted. The pianist, however, so there is contrast there, calmly turning to the piano, began to improvise a chopsticks counter melody. So the boy was playing chopsticks here, and the pianist played another melody that accompanied that melody that the child was playing. As a result, the old master and the boy together transformed an embarrassing situation into a wonderfully creative experience for the audience. Wow, that is very nice. These are ways then that you can use to improve or to enrich a text. I want you to please listen to the pronunciation of the story, practice your pronunciation with the native speaker, and I'll see you in a moment.
A mother, wishing to encourage her son's progress on the piano, took him to a concert of a famous pianist. Later, when she got up to go to the restroom, he immediately got up and entered a door marked "No Entry" near the stage. Right when the mother discovered that her son was missing, the curtains suddenly opened to reveal her son sitting at the stage piano. The boy calmly began to play chopsticks while the audience reacted angrily. The pianist, however, calmly turning to the piano, began to improvise a chopsticks countermelody. As a result, the old master and the boy together transformed an embarrassing situation into a wonderfully creative experience for the audience.
Great! Thank you very much for having practiced your pronunciation. Remember that we can always use adverbs and connectors to enrich details in a story. Thank you very much for having completed this activity, and I will see you in the next video.